with your great insight, even with your great willingness to make a difference in the lives of the people that you're called to take care of in your leadership capacity, but you will continue to watch accidents that could have been prevented happen over and over and over and over and over again. Hey everybody, Pierre Quinn here, and I teach leaders like you how to courageously begin the journey to personal and professional transformation. And in this video, I want to talk to you about why leaders struggle to really help their people. So let's go. Have you ever wondered why, as a leader, you really struggle to help your people? I mean, you have great ideas, you have tons of experience, you have tons of energy, you have so much going for you. Why is it that you struggle to make the connection that you need to begin transformation in your organization? So I want to talk about that, but before I give you the reason why, I got to tell you this story about what happened to me today. My wife and I were running errands, and we ended up at one of those not so magical places that likes to take all of your money, Sam's Club. I know some of you were thinking Target, but we went to Target yesterday. So we were in Sam's Club, that not so magical place that has all the things and all of the quantities that you really don't need. And normally for us, a trip to Sam's Club leads to buying stuff you don't need just because it's on sale. Is it really on sale? But I'm proud to announce that on this trip to Sam's Club, we walked out with only the things that we needed and none of the things that we kind of wanted. As we were making our way to our car, we noticed that there were several cars in the parking lot looking for parking spaces. Now, what's interesting about parking spaces is that studies have shown that if you are in a parking space and there's no one around that's waiting for it, you'll get in your car, you'll start your car, adjust your mirrors, put on your seatbelt, do all this stuff, and leave the parking space. But if you get into your car and you notice that someone is waiting for you to exit the parking space, most people will take their sweet time. And do you know why that is? It's simply because people want to hold on to their territory or to their space as long as possible. And you sitting there menacingly or frustrated or flashing your lights does not help the situation. Most people are going to leave their parking space when they're good and ready, or, and some of you have done this before, just sit in your car until the person leaves. Yeah, I've done that too. As we are walking across the parking lot, we notice this Mini Cooper that's trying to find a parking spot and slowly inching its way toward the store. The Mini Cooper stops and proceeds to back up. At the same time, another car is exiting a parking spot. It's backing out of the parking spot. My wife yells out, "No, no, no, I see it. It's about to happen. No, 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 no." And then you hear the crunch of plastic as the two cars collide. I mean, it wasn't much of a collision. It was more of a fender bender, but damage was done. As we got closer, the driver of the Mini Cooper and the driver of, I think it was a Honda, are examining the damage, and both are visibly frustrated. The driver of the Honda is frustrated that his car, his nice red car, has a dent, and the driver of the Mini Cooper is like, ugh, whatever. As we hopped in the car and prepared to leave, there were a couple of thoughts that floated through my head. Thought number one, you should probably record a video about this. But thought number two was all about wrestling with why I felt powerless or helpless in that moment. Here's what my wife and I had to our advantage. We had perspective. We could see the Mini Cooper backing up and the Honda backing up. We had experience. We've driven enough to know that if you're not looking, accidents are going to happen. We also had a desire to keep this from happening. As my wife was screaming out, "No, no, 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 no," it pained her that she could do nothing about the situation, but she yelled anyway. And here's the reality. It's the reality that you struggle with. It's the reality that I struggle with. It's the reality that all leaders struggle with. We get to a job, we assume a responsibility, we're placed in a role, and we have great perspective. We have great ideas. We have a desire to help. We have a willingness to connect. We have a vision of how things can be and how things can turn around. But do you know what we're lacking? It was the same thing my wife and I were lacking today in the Sam's Club parking lot when we could not prevent an accident from happening. We were lacking closeness. Now I'll say it again. We were lacking closeness. We simply were not close enough to the people who were involved in the fender bender to make a difference. We were standing so far away. And even though we had a great perspective, even though we had the experience, even though we had a desire to help, we were so far away from them that our cries and screams to stop this from happening were pointless. And it's the same thing with you and I. If we don't get close enough to our people, I know you run a big organization. I know you're working with some difficult people. I know it's frustrating. I know there's no time for that. I know all the excuses, everything comes your way and you can justify all of your actions at this moment. But I want you to understand that if you don't get close enough to your people, and I don't mean being best friends or being buddy-buddy, but I mean close enough that your influence actually produces change. In order for that to happen, you need to know what your people are struggling with on their job. In order for that to happen, you need to know what inspires people on their job. In order for that to happen, you need to understand how the system is positively or negatively impacting your people. If you want to actually create the change that you know you can create, that you have written on your vision board, that you have chronicled in your journal, if you actually want to make a difference and move your organization from where it is to where it's called to be, it's going to require that you get a bit closer to your people. Now, I know that's frustrating. I know that's uncomfortable for some of us. I know the concept of vulnerability pushes some of us away, but that's how it happens. That's how real change happens. That's how real impact happens. Because if not, if you don't get closer, you'll be standing there afar off with your great ideas, with your great perspective, with your great insight, even with your great willingness to make a difference in the lives of the people that you're called to take care of in your leadership capacity, but you will continue to watch accidents that could have been prevented happen over and over and over and over and over again because you weren't close enough. So what does that look like for you? What does getting closer to your people look like? Maybe it's arranging a conversation to talk about some of the things that are working well in the job. Maybe it's arranging a conversation to talk about difficulties. Maybe it's arranging a time for all of you to take an assessment and get a deeper understanding of each other. Maybe it's taking suggestions or doing something fun and interactive that has nothing to do with work every so often. Now, the best teams master this. The best teams are so good at this. They take the time to go deep with their people. They take the time to interact. They take the time to listen to suggestions, and they take the time to get close so their organization can experience transformation. Don't be like my wife and I today in the middle of that Sam's Club parking lot. We had a great perspective. We really wanted to help, and our experience told us what was about to happen, and our cries to stop it weren't effective because we were too far away. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to get closer to my people? Hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can be one of the first to know whenever I release new content, and also hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any alerts. And if you know of a leader who could use this advice, be sure to share it with them. I'll see you next time.